Welcome to Unicorns Talk Podcast, your weekly girl talk about Black women, our healing, and manifestation. My name is Latrice Sampson Richards, your life enhancement coach, and together we're going to live, laugh, and learn to love all of life's little messes. While I am a licensed clinician, please keep in mind that this show is not a substitute for your own relationship with a mental health provider. Let's go. Hey, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 41 of Unicorns Talk Podcast. The title of today's show is Judge Not. We're going to be talking about the 3 reasons why you constantly feel judged by others. This is a topic that, I'm going to get into it more in a little bit, but this is a topic that's really important to me because it's something that I personally struggled with as I moved along my journey. And so anyway, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. My name is Latrice Sampson Richards, and I am super happy to be with y'all here today as usual. It's been a busy week for me, of course. We moved to the new apartment over the weekend. And so as y'all already know, I freaking hate moving. But I love the new place though. And my goal is really to make this the last apartment that we pay for, like pay rent for. I don't want to move to another apartment unless we own it. I just feel like, it's time, you know what I'm saying? It's time to own something. It's time to like just move to the next level of life. Like I said, everybody is on their own journey, and that's kind of where I am in my journey right now. Like I'm so over paying rent. Anyway, so we moved this weekend, and anytime that there's a major change in your life, like moving, it really creates an opportunity for a natural transition in your life, which is like the one thing that I actually like about moving or enjoy about moving. It provides an opportunity to really assess like where you are, and you have an opportunity to course correct as necessary. And so if you're following me on Facebook or you're a member of my Facebook group, Trust Village, then you know that this move has not disappointed in terms of providing me with some personal growth opportunities and some moments that I shared on my social this weekend about just some of the personal changes and personal growth moments that I think this move really kind of ushered into my life. So if you don't follow me on, follow my Facebook page, my business page, fan page, whatever you want to call it on Facebook, then make sure you check that out so you can catch that video. And if you're not a member of Trust Village by now, girl, what is you waiting on is the real question, because Trust Village is going down. I actually shared some changes that I'm going to be making to Trust Village as well. And those changes are going to kick off on September 1st. So I'm super duper excited about those. So yeah, make sure you check it out. Follow me on all of the socials at Latrice Sampson Richards on Facebook and Instagram, at L Sam Richards on Twitter, to make sure you catch all of my transparency moments and, just really get some insight on how you can begin the process of creating lasting change in your life. For those of you who are going to be attending a Life Empowered tour, you are definitely in for a treat, because we're going to delve into how to make these changes and so much more. I am so excited about this tour. Y'all have no idea. When you leave the event, you're definitely going to have clarity about who you are, where you are, and where you are going in this life. We keep saying that we're going to make these changes in our lives, but we never really get around to it for whatever reason, or the few changes that we do get around to making, those changes we're not able to maintain because, like the changes are fleeting because we really lack the support, the planning, and the know-how to maintain them. And so that's why I created created a Life Empowered. It's a group intensive for Black women who are ready to change, but they don't know where to start. And so you feel stuck, you feel like you're in a rut, and you know that it's time to get to the next phase of life, but you're really struggling to figure out how to make that happen. So you're in a place in your life where you know that there's something more for you, but you don't know how to access it. And so if you've already purchased your ticket, then you definitely made the right purchase, because that is exactly what we're going to be addressing. So congratulations to you for coming, making the investment to get the information that you need, to really create a lasting change in your life. Listen, if you're still sitting on the fence about moving forward in your journey, then this event is not for you. I'm just going to be real. If you're like, oh, I think I want to make change, but I'm not sure, then save your money, girl. Don't waste my time. Don't waste your time. This event is only for women who are really genuinely ready to make these changes, who are really tired of living life, the day to day in and out of life, just kind of coasting, people who really want to engage life and really get to a place of genuine life satisfaction across multiple areas. All right. So don't come around here if you ain't ready to really work, if you ain't ready to really make no changes, because that's what we're really trying to do with a Life Empowered tour. All right. Okay. So if you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe, rate, and comment on Apple Podcasts or anywhere that you're listening right now. Y'all know I love it when y'all let me know that y'all are listening. And I know y'all listening because I see the numbers, but y'all need to talk to me. I want y'all to communicate with me. This is in dialogue. I keep telling y'all that. Y'all got to talk to me. Y'all got to interact with me. Y'all are getting better at it, I will say, but I want y'all to talk to me. I want y'all to interact with me. You can use an alias if that's really what you want to do. I don't have a problem with that at all. Okay. But communicate with me. Take a screenshot, post it on your social media stories or on your news feed and tag me in it. You can either tag me directly at Latrice Sampson Richards, or you can tag the podcast at Unicorns Talk Pod and just let me know that you're listening, or if you have any questions or anything like that. I mean, shout out to Talking Greasy podcast, because y'all always let me know that y'all are listening, and I am very grateful for that. Also, shout out to which I guess I'll do that later in shout outs, but I was going to say shout out to Jaden. Hey, boo, because Jaden always lets me know that he's listening as well, and I appreciate him for that too. And speaking of Jaden, as you all know, I will be performing my show live at a Pod Connection ATL on October 5th through 7th in Atlanta, Georgia. Get your tickets, please. Make sure that you show up in the building, so I can wrap my arms around you and hug your neck and say, hey, girl, hey, or whatever. And, just come see me. I'm definitely going to have some merch. And listen, so I know that my show is geared toward Black women, but I am very well aware that it's a little bit of every damn body that listens to my show. And I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, even though you hear me say Black woman a gazillion times. Okay. But I do. I genuinely appreciate y'all for showing up for me and things like that. I'm working on my show topic for, excuse me. Girl, look, my mind went blank just now. I'm working on my show topic for a Pod Connection ATL, and I'm going to make sure that it is appropriate for a mixed audience, and it is going to be thebomb.com. I'm not going to tell y'all what the topic is yet. I am going to announce what the topic is, but I'm not going to tell y'all what the topic is yet, but I'm just going to tell y'all that y'all definitely going to want to purchase one of my notebooks that I'm going to have, one of my signature notebooks that I'm going to have available, because boo, you're going to be ready to take some notes. Like, you need to come prepared. You know that already though. Anytime you come see me speak or whatever, you need to come prepared to take some notes, and a Pod Connection ATL is not going to be any different. And they're going to have like a little meet and greet and stuff like that. It's going to be awesome and amazing. So make sure you get your tickets, people. The tickets for general admission is only like $15. $15. I think the VIP, I'm not sure how much the VIP is, to be honest, but it is absolutely worth it. And because I enjoy y'all as much as I do, I actually have a $5 off coupon code. You can use the code Unicorns Talk, all caps, 2 words, to get $5 off your ticket purchase. I'm saying, that mean that's like a $10 ticket. Like, you can spend $10 on a ticket. You know what I'm saying? So come on and see me. Come on down to the place and see the girl. You know what I'm saying? Can't wait to see y'all. Can't wait to speak to y'all and meet y'all and hug y'all and all of that good stuff. All right. What else we have going on? So I think that's it in terms of that. Let's go ahead and jump on in to today's topic. So like I said earlier, the title for today's show is "Judge Not." ... And I put in that ... ellipses for those college educated folks. I put that in there because I think we need to take another look at our interpretation of what it means to be judged or to feel judged by other people. Inside my Facebook group, Trust Village, one of the things that I hear a lot, like I'm really working on increasing participation inside of Trust Village. Now, Trust Village is very active. Don't get me wrong. The ladies participate very, very well. But for the number of women that we have in the group, I would like to have more participation. And so one of the things I started asking was, like, why are y'all not participating as much as, as you could be, or really need to be in order to gain the most benefit from this experience? And the one thing that kept coming back over and over and over was, this fear of being judged, which is part of the whole reason that I created Trust Village to begin with, right? It's to create a safe space for healing and manifestation, because so many of us in our day-to-day lives, we don't feel like we have a space where we can just exist and we can just be, and be free from judgment. And so I created Trust Village to kind of be that space for us, to be able to share. And so I guess it was interesting for me, which is why I do these check-ins with my group, right? To try to find out how can I best serve you. So it was interesting to me that all of these women have joined the group because they lack a space to be able to really open up and really be able to share. And yet, even inside of this space that was specifically created to provide them with a judgment-free zone, they still fear judgment. And so that it just got me thinking, here lately about, how we perceive judgment and the judgment of others. And I always have, y'all know I have my treesisms. And so today is no different. We're definitely going to be talking about some treesisms. And treesisms is how I see the world, how I make sense of the world. And I often teach you all my treesisms in hopes that it'll help you to maybe see the world a little differently as well. Because I believe that if we can understand things from a origins kind of standpoint, or even just to get a different perspective on things, it helps us to be able to act and interact with those things differently, right? And so I think judgment is no different. So there's three main reasons. I mean, listen, there's a shitload of reasons why we feel judged in certain situations. But today I'm going to address only three of those reasons. And these are the three reasons that I believe you're not considering when you are feeling judged, or like when you're trying to understand why you're feeling judged. I think, we're so quick to just put it on other people, but sometimes we need to take responsibility for, what's ours, and allow other people to take responsibility for what's theirs. And so today we're going to be talking about 3 reasons why you're feeling judged by other people. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Make sure you have your pen and your paper. I don't want to have to keep telling y'all that, but y'all already know that that's what needs to happen. Okay. All right. So the first reason, like I said, just for clarity, okay, just for clarity, this is not an all inclusive kind of list. This is not a total, a total, no, what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? Totality. I can't think of the word right now. Please forgive me. I'm still a little tired. I ain't gonna lie. Totality. Hey, I remembered the word. Totality. This is not an absolute list, okay? We're just talking about three of the reasons that I think get most overlooked or least considered when people feel judged, okay? So the first reason why you're feeling judged by other people is because you are judging yourself and you are assigning it to other people. I'm going to let that sink in for just a second. You are judging yourself. And instead of acknowledging that you have a problem with whatever aspect of yourself you're feeling judged about, you assign that to other people. That judgment, I'm saying. All right? A lot of us, all of us, we have these belief systems. And if you're not checking in with your belief systems, then you are really doing yourself a disservice, because it's important for you to understand what your belief systems are, because when your life does not align with those belief systems, or if those belief systems are not genuinely yours, right? Like you've just taken ownership of them because somebody told you that you needed to take ownership of them, but you don't really believe in those things. You just feel like you are supposed to believe in those things. Then it creates what's called a cognitive dissonance, which is when the life that you want to live, or the thing that you want to do, or the thing that you actually believe is in direct contrast or in conflict with whatever your stated belief system is, right? And so these belief systems are ingrained in us, whether we realize it or not. Like from the moment you're born, you are, you are being groomed within a certain belief system. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like a religious or a spiritual kind of belief system. We have all kinds of belief systems. We have beliefs about what's right versus what's wrong. We have beliefs about what's pretty versus what's ugly. We have beliefs about what's good versus what's bad. You know what I'm saying? Like we have all kinds, what's appropriate versus what's inappropriate, what's sexy versus what's ugly. Like we have all kinds of belief systems, okay? And those belief systems are ingrained in us from birth, whether you realize it or not. And so what happens to a lot of us, I believe, is that you feel shame and guilt and embarrassment about your reality because your reality does not match up with your belief system, right? But it's hard to acknowledge that, because to acknowledge that is to also acknowledge that either one, who you are is wrong, inherently wrong, innately wrong, organically wrong, or that your belief system is flawed. And that opens up a whole other can of worms that most of us are not equipped to really address, right? So you are judging yourself because who you are at your core is not aligning with whatever your belief system is. But, you're doing by assigning that judgment onto other people and not taking responsibility for your own judgment of self, then you're doing the same thing to them that you're accusing them of doing to you. You are judging them. You're just assuming that they're going to treat you differently. You're assuming that they're going to look at you differently, when the reality is that it ain't got nothing to do with them at all. It's you. You are the one looking at yourself differently. You are the one giving yourself the side eye. Okay? So if you find yourself in a place in your life where you feel judged by everybody around you, it may not be that they're judging you. It may be that you are judging yourself. And as a result of judging yourself and not being able to acknowledge how you really feel, or that your belief system is flawed, or being willing to adjust your belief system, because that's a thing. You can change your adjust system your belief system whenever you damn well please. I am a firm believer that you don't need nobody's permission to move on with your life, to think something different, to do something different, to want something different, to believe something different. As you grow, so does your belief system. If something is not matching up for you, then take a real look at it and understand why it's not matching up. What is it that you disagree with? Listen, I can give you a really short, quick, try to be quick, personal story in this particular area. I grew up Catholic. I'm talking about Catholic. Like, I grew up in the Roman Catholic Church. Okay. It was a Black Catholic church, but it was Roman Catholic nonetheless. And so growing up, I always felt a disconnect from Catholicism. But I'm from New Orleans. Y'all already know that. I'm from New Orleans. And in New Orleans is a very, very Catholic city. Okay. Extremely, extremely Catholic. And a lot of people don't understand that, because all you see on TV is voodoo this and voodoo that. But let me tell you, boo, I don't play with I don't do's voodoo. Okay? I do not play with voodoo. And most original New Orleanians don't fuck with voodoo either. Let's just be real. Okay? And those who do practice voodoo will tell you that it's not the kind of voodoo that you see on television. All right? It's a spiritual practice. Okay? But that's a whole other thing. I grew up extremely, extremely Catholic. And I went to Catholic school all throughout elementary school and high school. I went to Catholic school. And I remember in elementary school, my church had a school. And so we went to the church, we went to the school, we went to the youth group. I did everything that the church had to offer. I was in it. Okay. And we used to go to confession. I think it was monthly, maybe, or something like that. We would go to confession. I don't remember. But I remember the moment that I was like, this shit ain't for me, you know? And I think I was maybe in about third or fourth grade, and we were going to confession. And I remember just being so nervous about, like, what am I gonna tell him? Like, how is he going to respond? And he being the priest, okay, how is he gonna respond to my sins? Like, maybe I think I had stole a bottle of a nail polish or something like that from the dollar store or something like that. And I was just like feeling really horrible, which, don't get me wrong, I should feel horrible. Like, stealing is not what's up at all. But I remember feeling a great deal of anxiety around sharing that with the priest. And so I go in there and, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned, my sins are, and I, go through the little list of my sins. And I remember at the end, after I finished, he said something like, well, do you understand that what you did was wrong? And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I confessed it. Like, I know it was wrong, and I don't plan on ever doing it again, which I actually never did. And he was like, okay, my child, you are forgiven. And say like 10 Hail Marys or something like that. And I just remember in my mind, I was like, how can he forgive me for my sins? You know what I'm saying? Like, who gave him the authority to forgive me for my sins? Not only that, why am I talking to him when I could talk to God directly? Like that just doesn't make sense. Like God don't need no middleman. I can talk to God whenever I feel like talking to God, right? And so that was like the thought that went through my mind, and I feel like that was the exact moment that Catholicism just started going downhill for me. And then, as I really grew into an adult and started learning and understanding more about my spiritual um where I am spiritually, my spiritual understandings and my spiritual beliefs and things like that, then I started drifting further and further away from Catholicism. And my mother, out of all of my family members, she had the most difficult time with that, because I stopped going to church and, a few other things. I mean, I converse with God on a regular, but, I have an issue with certain church houses, you know what I'm saying? And so my mother had the most difficult time with making that adjustment. And so for a long time, I felt, judged. Like I felt there was a strain on our relationship. And what I had to realize was that I can't be upset with her for believing whatever it is that she believes. The issue is that I was judging myself because there was some part of me that felt like if I veered away from Catholicism, like what does that say about me? To say that I'm non-denominational, or to say that, like I don't necessarily, like I believe in God, but I have issues with certain aspects of Christianity, or I have qualms about the way that certain Christians behave and things like that. Like, what does that say about me? And it was not aligning with my quote unquote belief systems. And so I had to realize that I can change those belief systems whenever I feel like it. Just because I was raised with that particular belief system does not mean that I have to continue to believe in that. As you grow, as you gain new information, you can change your mind. I highly recommend that you change your mind about things as you grow and gather new understandings and new information. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe I'm rambling a little bit at this point, but that's my personal story in terms of you're judging yourself and you are assigning it to other people. If how you live or how you choose to live, how you feel most comfortable in your skin is not in alignment with your belief systems, then you either need to address your belief systems or you need to address who you are in your skin and maybe change that. You know what I'm saying? But I do not recommend that, unless who you are is like a woman beater, then get your whole life. You know what I'm saying? But y'all got me. Y'all got me. Okay. But don't assign that to other people. Deal with that within yourself, and you might find that you feel less judged. All right. Okay. The second reason why you are feeling judged by others is that you have been hiding your truth for so long that they have no idea who you are. So it's hard trying to be everything that everybody else wants you to be. I think, unfortunately, for so many of us, we walk around with this facade up, right? And a facade is the same as lying. It's just a lie that you have to maintain. Like a facade is a mask that you put on for the outside world. Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody puts on a mask to a certain extent, and there's nothing wrong with it. Okay. We have to be different things or different people in different situations, but your core, the core of who you are, should be able to, needs to be able to remain as constant as possible across all of those interactions. Like, for example, I pride myself on being able to adapt to different situations and different experiences, different, company, quote unquote company, you know what I'm saying? But one of the things that I really pride myself on is being able to be my true authentic self in any of those circumstances. So I don't care if I'm the only black person in a room full of white people. Been there, done that. Okay. I don't care if I am the only woman in a room full of men. Been there, done that. I don't care if I'm the only whatever. It doesn't matter if I'm the only big girl in a room full of skinny bitches. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with that because I show up no matter where I go. Now, I can adapt to each of those particular surroundings, right? And I can provide whatever needs to be provided in that particular surrounding, but it's all a part of who I am. If you cannot feel comfortable in your skin, if you are not able to show yourself and allow yourself to be seen in any situation, in any circumstance, then you have to put on a front. And if you are putting on a front every single time that you interact with somebody, they never get a chance to see who you are in reality. So when those truth moments come, because the truth moments will come, truth moments always come. It's just like on reality TV, right? Like, like Big Brother and stuff like that. When they first move into the house, everybody is super, super conscious and super aware of the cameras, right? And we want to present the best face that we can because we're on television and we got to be pretty all the time and we got to be this and we got to be that. But then after a while, we get used to those cameras being there and the truth starts coming out. We start showing those ugly sides, right? We see it on reality television all the time. The truth always comes out. So when you start having those truth moments, then people giving you the side eye because they're like, well, hold up, bitch, hold up. Because who you are right now, girl, I ain't know that person was up in there. And I don't know how I feel about that person. Which you can't blame them for that because that person is not the person that they thought they were getting. Right? You can't expect people to accept you for who you are when you're not willing to show them who you are in reality. So you end up feeling judged when pieces of your true self start to slip out, partly because of your own insecurities, like we talked about in the first reason, right? But then also because they're probably looking at you because that truth, like they're looking at you sideways because that truth is so far from what they believed to be the truth about you. So they don't know which you to believe. They don't know which one is really you. Okay? It's okay to be eclectic. It's okay to be different. Listen, I am a lot of different things. I got a lot of different personalities inside of me. You know what I'm saying? Ask my husband. Okay? I got a little hood chick in me. I got a little ratchet chick in me. I got, a little snobby chick in me. I got a sedity chick in me. I got a sorority girl inside of me. We all exist. I got a boss in there. I got a bitch in there. I got a passive being inside of me. I got a sexy, super ego kind of person up in me. We all have different aspects of who we are. I'm not saying you have to show all things to all people, but at your core, there is a piece of the core of me that exists in every single one of those personalities. And that is what binds those personalities together. That's what makes it not dissociative personality disorder. That's what makes it not diagnosable. Okay. So don't be like, oh Lord, girl, you need to go seek you a therapist. First of all, I have a therapist. Every good therapist has their own therapist. So I do have a therapist, but don't be looking at me like something wrong with me or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, she got all these different personalities, because you do too. But what ties them together is that I am present in each and every one of those personalities. And it's evident that I'm present in each and every one of those personalities because they all feel familiar. Okay? They all feel familiar. So if you are feeling judged by the people around you, it could possibly be because you are not showing up consistently and showing them who you are consistently, so they don't know how to take you. They don't know who you are. They don't understand how to interact with you. They don't know where to place you. Okay? It's not the same as boxing you, but just placing you. All right? So try showing up more consistently in terms of putting yourself on display and being who you are when you are around these people, and see if that doesn't change. Either they're going to say they like it, or they're going to say they don't like it, and they're going to stop fucking with you. Either way is, good for you. It's a win-win. All right? Because if they cannot accept you for who you are in your natural state, then them is not your people. Which brings us to the third reason and the final reason that we're going to discuss today, why you're feeling judged by others. Them is not your people. They are not your people. In the my Empower Your Vision Masterclass, in Module 2 is called It Takes a Village. And we talk about your support network and how important it is for you to build out your support network, which again, the Empower Your Vision Masterclass is completely free. So there's no reason for you to not come get this information. I'm just saying. I feel like I say free a ridiculous amount of times. There's no reason for you to not come get this information, okay? Anyway, Module 2 is called It Takes a Village, and it's all about finding your support network and finding the people who can support you through your journey. It is important that you find your people. You cannot exist in this life completely alone. We are not built that way. That's not how life is intended to be lived. Okay? We need each other. We need other people. And anybody, some people have convinced themselves that they don't need other people, or they're trying to convince themselves that they don't need nobody, but that's because they never had nobody that they could trust in their lives. Okay? So Module 2 of the Empower Your Vision Masterclass is for those people. It's teaching you how to find your people. If you're feeling like everybody around you is judging you, then them ain't your people, girl. That's not your people. You need to find your people. In the masterclass, we talk about the difference between your core people and your PRN people. Now, if you've ever gone to a doctor and had a prescription written, maybe some antibiotics, no judgment, you know what I'm saying? Some antibiotics or maybe even pain pills or something like that, you'll look on your bottle and your bottle will say PRN. Now, I don't know what the exact letters PRN stand for. I am not a doctor or a nurse. So if you are one of those, then go on and, write in and let me know what that actually means. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'll let y'all know next week. Okay. But what it means is take as needed. Okay. As needed. You have PRN people in your life that are as needed, meaning that those people serve a very specific and particular purpose in your life. Okay? They are there for a reason. And so what happens sometimes is that we don't want to let go of our PRN people. And that causes a lot more harm than good, because when it's time for somebody to exit your life, there is a natural transition that begins to take place. You just stop talking. You're not talking as much as you used to. They start getting on your damn nerves. You getting on their damn nerves. But because we don't want to be alone, or we don't want to feel like, because we have our need as human beings to coexist with other human beings, then we are afraid to let go of those PRN relationships. And those negative feelings ensue. Okay? So PRN people whose time is up in your life, or PRN people who just no longer belong in your life, they can cause you to feel judged. They're not your people. When I say find your people, I'm talking about finding your core people. You need PRN people, but you only need them for a specific purpose. And maybe their purpose was to help you realize that you are not the person that they need you to be, that you're not that kind of person. Sometimes we get PRN people in our lives that teach us who we are. I've experienced that, you know, the kind of person that I don't want to be. Like, I don't want to be like you. As your friend, at during the time period that you were my friend, that you were in my life, I started taking on your characteristics, and what I realized is that I don't like it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that kind of person. This is not the legacy that I want to live. And maybe that was your sole purpose in my life, was to help me realize that I did not want to be that kind of person. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So if you're feeling judged by those people, then 9 times out of 10, them ain't your people. And if you change those people and find your core people who are intended to do life with you, who can accept you for who you are, then you're less likely to feel judged. I'm not saying that you won't ever feel judged. I'm saying you are less likely to feel judged. And ain't that what we all want? That's what I want. I don't know about you, but that's what I want. Okay? All right. So those are your 3 reasons. Your 3 reasons why you feel judged by other people. You're judging yourself and you're assigning it to others. You've been hiding your truth for so long that they don't know who you are. And them is not your people, girl. Them is not your people. All right. So in order to overcome these things, we have to own our truth, and we have to allow ourselves to be seen. Truly, really seen, so that you can begin to attract your people, the people who love you, the people who appreciate you, and the people who accept you as is. All right. Now that's a word. That's a word. All right. Coming up next is High Five. Okay, so our high five today goes to Living Single. I don't know if y'all know it or not, but Living Single aired for the first time 25 years ago today. And so I definitely wanted to give my high five to Living Single, and like just to everybody who participated in bringing that show to life, because I think I've talked about here on the show before, like that is one of my favorite shows. And I was so excited when Hulu decided to start airing past episodes. Like, well, they're all past episodes, but y'all know what I'm saying. Like when Hulu picked up the show and started syndicating it, I was super excited. I still watch it on Hulu. I've seen every single episode. I think I saw one episode that I had never seen before, and I was like, what? How did I never see this episode before? But some of the things that I love the most about Living Single is that it really gave us a picture of what it meant to be like a Black woman and man adulting in America, and like I like that they didn't shy away from any of the real issues that we face, and it helped to prepare me for my own version of adulthood, I think, in a lot of ways, because it was so real. And I think as I've gotten older, as I've grown into an adult or whatever, because when it came on, I was still in high school, I think, maybe even younger. Girl, 25 years ago, what's today? It's 2018. So 18 years ago is 2000, and then another 6 years, right? 18, 19, 20. Girl, 7 years. I wasn't even in high school. I was a little girl. Well, anyway. Girl, I thought I was so grown. That's crazy. I just thought I was so grown watching that show. But now that I am grown, and like as an adult now watching the show, I feel like I have a different understanding of the show. Like I have a much deeper appreciation for the show, and just, them depicting all of the different aspects of Black womanhood, and I love them for that. I mean, I was able to see myself, me and my friends, we always used to get together and we used to be like, oh, I'm Khadijah, or I'm you Regine, or you Sinclair. Nobody ever wanted to be Sinclair. But I got a little Sinclair in me, and I think all of us can find a little bit of ourselves in each one of those characters. And I love the realness of the show. I love everything that the show stood for. I love the blackety black nature of the show, and just showing how multifaceted Black Americans are, and telling the truth about what it means to be a Black person in America, trying to figure out life. And so, high five to Living Single on their 25th anniversary. Y'all make me feel old and young at the same time, if that is even a thing or if that even makes sense. But I feel like y'all know what that means. I feel like y'all get that, So high five to Living Single. Happy 25th year anniversary. And just keep doing awesome and amazing things. I heard they was talking about doing a reboot of some kind. But to be honest, I'm not interested in a Living Single reboot. I mean, I feel like certain things you just need to leave it where it is. I think if you tried to recreate it, I don't know how good that would be. So anyway, high five to Living Single, and all that jazz. I was thinking about doing my Insecure recap under high five, but I think I really want to do it under Reality Check, because that's what Reality Check is all about. It's about taking, things that are happening in reality, in pop culture, in Black culture, and teaching us the lessons that we can pull from it. So I'm definitely going to do it under Reality Check. It's going to be my second reality check for today. But first, the first reality check is Black Ink Crew Chicago. Now, y'all know I enjoy the whole Black Ink franchise in terms of television. I don't necessarily watch like the hip hop stuff, the Love and Hip Hop stuff per se, but which I'm not gonna lie, I'm trying to get more into it only because of Spice and Tokyo Vanity, because I like both of those ladies, and so I'm trying to give it a try. But like, they lost me with the whole Kenya Moore situation on Atlanta Housewives. That's really when I stopped watching like those reality shows, because I used to have the biggest girl crush on Kenya Moore. I loved Kenya Moore. Like, I thought that Kenya Moore was so regal, and just like growing up watching her, like I was a huge fan. I looked up to her in a lot of ways. And then she got on Atlanta Housewives, and I saw aspects of her or parts of her personality that I just was not aware of, and I was just like, girl, no. I didn't care for her as a person. Not that she needs me to or anything like that, but that kind of put me off on those kinds of shows. But anyway, I love the Black Ink franchise or whatever, even though they opened up a Black Ink New Orleans shop. But one of my friends said she went over there to get a tattoo, and they're not even tattooing yet. Like, right now it's like a bar and grill or something, which is, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a tattoo shop. Why are y'all not tattooing? But they like grilling and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know. But Black Ink Chicago is out right now. It's on. And so I've been playing catch up because I have been several months or episodes behind. And I've been playing catch up. So I finally caught up to the most recent episode. And for those of you who have not watched the show, basically the team is all broken up. So Ryan, who is the owner of 9 Mag, which is the tattoo shop that we are following on Black Ink Chicago, Ryan is the owner of 9 Mag, and his team has been upset with him. It's been brewing since last season, to be honest, because he chose his family over them. And I felt like, I'm definitely... So they're saying that he hasn't been loyal to them, but the reality is that they haven't shown him any loyalty. They were only loyal as long as he let them say and do whatever it is that they wanted to do, which is how things like that work most often. Like, people who complain about you not being loyal, it's probably because you stopped being, a punching bag for them, or you just stopped letting them get away with saying and doing whatever it is that they wanted to do. But that's not how loyalty works. works, right? Like he chose his family over them. He messed up. He made poor choices by sleeping with Kat or pursuing Kat or whatever it was. And, that's not their fault that he made those choices. But when it came down to the come down and he had to choose between, Kat and his family, his future wife, the mother of his children, who he's been very open and vocal about the fact that he wants to marry this woman, that this is the woman that he wants to spend the rest of his life with. He chose her. He chose his family. Right? He chose her and their kids. And so he did what he needed to do in order to preserve that relationship, in order to maintain those connections in his life. And they felt some kind of way because Kat is the homie and this, that, and the other. But Kat is the side bitch. That's it. That's it. You don't get privileges. You know what I'm saying? You don't get privileges. And so the minute he prioritized his real family over his family, they turned on him for breaking up the family. Like they turned their backs completely on him. Nobody tried to understand his point of view. Nobody said, I get where you're coming from. None of that, because his real friends, if they were really loyal to him the way that they were expecting him to be to them, then they would have understood the fact that he needed to prioritize his family. You see what I'm saying? And so, they pushed and he pushed back. They were completely out of line. They really were. So he pushed back and they basically they backed him into a corner because they made him feel like he had to choose. And so real loyalty would have understood his need to make sure that his family was stable and supported him through that situation. But because they only look out for themselves, which is still evident even with this new Loyal Inc. situation that they're doing, it's evident that every man is looking out for themselves. They couldn't do that. They couldn't be there for him. And they did the same thing to Four in the most recent episode, right? Or like the last two episodes or whatever, when they went to Jamaica. None of them really came there to support him in Jamaica. They each went there with their own agenda. Junior basically, he straight up said, I'm here to celebrate my birthday. Like they all went there with their own agenda under the guise of going there to support him. And the minute that they had an opportunity to engage their own agendas, they did. They had that big ignorant ass brawl outside that party, or at that outside event or whatever, and shut his thing down. And like loyalty is not about letting people shit on you and then give you a half-assed apology and move on like nothing never happened. It's about supporting each other's decisions, even when you disagree, right? Like understanding somebody else's point of view, not condoning their decisions, but supporting their decisions. My friends make decisions, and I'm sure I make decisions all the time that my close friends don't necessarily agree with, but they support me through it anyway. That's what loyalty really is. It's about being able to disagree and still be friends. It's respecting my household and my need to keep my family together. And so, the title that I had for this particular reality check today was "These Hoes Ain't Loyal," because they're not. They're not. And if that's what loyalty looks like in your mind, then I think maybe you need to take a step back and adjust what your understanding or expectation of loyalty really is. Okay. All right. And so that's it for that part of reality check. And then now insecure check-in for reality check. So my check-in this week is really short for insecure. Episode 2 of season 3 aired on Sunday, and it was awesome and amazing. One of the themes that I think we got throughout this week's episode was this theme of vulnerability, and I love Well, I have like a love-hate relationship with vulnerability. Y'all know this already. I have like a love-hate relationship with vulnerability. It's a necessary evil, but it's one of the most difficult things that we have to face. But if we're trying to get our lives to the place that we're trying to go, then it's something that we have to contend with. And so this episode 2, we really saw what happens when you allow yourself to be seen, and what happens when you push past your discomfort of showing yourself. You know, Issa put herself in a very vulnerable position by having to ask Daniel for more time, right, to stay there. And she also put herself in a vulnerable position by, speaking up at work about having to be the black voice. She, made herself vulnerable by talking to Kelly, who I love, and I definitely feel like we need to see more of Kelly. Like, she completely stole the scene. Like, which I think was by design, but I want to see more of Kelly for sure. But Issa had to make herself vulnerable to Kelly to like really allow her to go into her finances and tell her whether or not she could afford a new place. Daniel made himself vulnerable this season, or this episode rather, just by opening up to Issa and kind of showing himself, like letting himself be seen in terms of his insecurities around his music and the place where where his music is going, or like really more like the stalling of his musical career. He had to make himself vulnerable in that sense, and Issa really pushed him to put himself on display in terms of reaching out to Khalil and trying to follow up on the offer that he made, to listen to some of his stuff, and even to approach that new artist or whatever, even though he didn't do an awesome job with that, but pushing himself outside of his comfort zone, because that's not something that he would have done. And some positive stuff came out of that as a result. You know what I'm saying? And so I think, there were a lot of different themes in this episode, but that vulnerability theme is what really stood out to me. And I think that that's something that we all can learn from and grow from. It's not always going to be comfortable as you're moving through your journey and trying to make changes. We're not always going to make leaps and bounds. Sometimes we take little baby steps, and those baby steps are going to make us extremely uncomfortable, but we have to do it anyway. We have to push past it, because the alternative is staying where you are, and that's not really an option. Okay, that's not really an option. So yeah, that's reality check. That's my insecure check-in. I don't know, I need to come up with a name for that or whatever. I was gonna call it insecurity, but that's already taken. Crystal and them doing that, so I can't really do that, but that's Insecure episode 2 season 3. And I'm excited to see where these characters go. We didn't see Molly this episode, so we'll see. Hopefully, what happens to her next week. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's it for this week's reality check. Definitely want to give some shout outs. Of course, always give a shout out to Black Married Fly podcast. I'm so excited to be working with them on a few things. We're going to make those things happen. The Dallas tour stop, the Dallas Stop for a Life Empowered tour is going to be on October 21st, and I'm super excited about that. So I'm also trying to get some things together to do some stuff with Black Married Fly while I'm there, and I'm really looking forward to that. Of course, shout out to Unapologetic Podcast and Jaden Hollywood, who always shows me so much love. Thank you so much, Jaden, for just always being so supportive and everything like that. Like, I feel like I have some big shoes to fill at a Pod Connection ATL, because the last time Jaden went on a little live show tour, he shut the damn thing down. So thank you for giving me a little healthy push there, Jaden. I promise you, I'm gonna make you proud, boo. I'm gonna make you proud. And shout out to all of my Trust Village members and any and everybody who is just giving me an opportunity to help you and support you in any way. In terms of announcements, keep in mind, don't forget that I am partnering with Talkspace Online Therapy to provide online therapy services for Louisiana residents. So if you live in the state of Louisiana and you are interested in working with me one-on-one, definitely sign up for Talkspace. I think they're doing a special discount right now. You can use discount code SUMMER, I want to say it is, SUMMER65, and get 65% off. I don't know how long that's good for, but give it a try. Even if you're not in the state of Louisiana and you're looking for a good quality therapist, Talkspace is a really good option for you. Just let them know that I sent ya. Okay? All right. What else we have going on? Again, like I told y'all earlier, a Pod Connection ATL is October 5th through 7th. And you can use my special code, Unicorns Talk, all caps, 2 words, to get $5 off. The tickets are $15 for general admission. Come on and see me or whatever. It's gonna be a vibe. It's gonna be a nice little vibe, and I'm really looking forward to it and meeting everybody and just having some merch and things like that for y'all to consume. And so yeah, come on and see you, girl. Okay, make sure you follow me on all the social medias. Unicorns Talk Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or follow me directly on Facebook and Instagram at Latrice Sampson Richards, on Twitter at Sam Richards. And then finally, don't forget to purchase your tickets for don't forget to purchase your tickets for A Life Empowered, which is my group intensive tour that's going to be taking place 3 stops: New Orleans, Dallas, and Atlanta. Is only 10 spots available at each stop, and it's going to be an awesome and amazing experience, and I cannot wait. I think that's it. I do believe that is all that I have for you all today. I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all. And until next time, be well. Bye, y'all.